Welcome to Crime Chronicles. Today, we're sharing a heartbreaking story that exposes the devastating impact of bullying and the tragic consequences when cries for help go unheard. Andrew Michael Leach was just a teenager, a boy with dreams, hopes, and a future ahead of him. But relentless bullying turned his life into a nightmare. Day after day, he endured torment, humiliation, and cruelty. And when the pain became too much to bear, Andrew made a devastating decision, one that no child should ever have to make. How did this happen? Why wasn't something done to protect him? And who should be held accountable for the suffering he endured? This is the tragic case of Andrew Michael Leach, a story that serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked bullying and the urgent need for change. Viewer discretion is advised. This video contains sensitive topics that may be distressing to some audiences. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's uncover the heartbreaking truth behind Andrew Leach's story.
He left a note, and even drew a picture of how he expected to be found, but no one saw it in time. What followed was something no one was prepared for. How did it come to this, and why was nothing done? Andrew Leach's story is heartbreaking, but it needs to be told. Andrew Michael Leach, who was lovingly called Andy, was born on September 13, 2005 in South Haven, Mississippi. He grew up with his mother, Cheryl Lee Bell Hudson, and his father, Matthew James Leach. Even though his parents were no longer together, both stayed involved in his life. 12-year-old Andy had just started 6th grade at South Haven Middle School, located in South Haven, Mississippi. He was a bright student who enjoyed school and had many friends. He was known for his quick wit, sarcastic humor, and kind heart. He could always make people laugh and had a joke ready for any moment. His personality made him the kind of kid that everyone loved to be around. Beyond his humor, Andy had big dreams. He was proud to be a Boy Scout, always excited about learning new things and going on adventures. He loved spending time outdoors, exploring, and taking on challenges. Music was another passion of his. He dreamed of playing the saxophone in his high school band and was excited about the day he would finally get to perform. But nothing in his life meant more to him than his family, especially his mother. They shared a special bond, and Andy was never shy about showing it. His mom often called him her light and sunshine, and he loved being by her side. One night, Cheryl came home from a movie and found Andy asleep on her bed with a packed suitcase. Confused, she asked why he had packed his things, and he simply said, "I'm moving into your room with you, Mommy." It was moments like these that showed just how much love Andy had to give. On the outside, Andy seemed like a happy, carefree kid, but behind the jokes and bright smile, something was happening that no one saw coming, and it would change everything. His mother later admitted, "I guess I was just oblivious to it. He just always seemed so happy." At first, Andy's time at South Haven Middle School seemed like any other new beginning. He was adjusting to his classes, meeting new people, and getting used to middle school life. But as the weeks passed, something started to change. It all started with name-calling. Some classmates began calling him stupid, fat, and ugly since the start of the school year. Initially, it may have seemed like teasing, but over time, it turned into something much more serious. The bullying kept escalating. At first it was subtle but persistent, classmates leaving him out, making rude remarks and laughing at him behind his back. Andy's confidence started to fade, but he tried to brush it off. As time went on, the insults became more direct and cruel. A group of students began to target him more aggressively, calling him names in front of others. What started as teasing had turned into relentless harassment. Eventually, the threats began. One day, a group of students cornered him in the school bathroom, blocking his way out. They warned him, "You're not going to make it out of this bathroom." Others told him, "We're going to put hands on you." As the bullying continued, a new layer was added to Andy's struggles. He first confided in his family and friends, saying he might be bisexual but was still understanding his identity. He was still trying to understand himself, questioning his identity and faith. His father, Matthew Leach, later shared that Andy had been internally struggling with these feelings, unsure of where he fit in. But once word spread at school, Andy found himself being treated even worse by some classmates. One day, a few classmates started questioning him. They asked things like, "Are you this?" or "Are you that?" Andy, feeling cornered, responded, "No, I'm bi," before he was cut off. From that moment, the insults became even more cruel. His classmates didn't just tease him anymore. They used his words against him. After weeks of constant bullying, Andy finally opened up to his parents. He told them that some classmates had been picking on him, calling him names and making school difficult for him. But he didn't go into detail about just how bad it had gotten. His mother, Cheryl Hudson, took the situation seriously and messaged his teacher, hoping they would step in to help. But the response she received left her stunned. The teacher replied, "I'm sorry, I wasn't able to step in on time." The situation had already escalated by the end of the day. The very people who were supposed to protect Andy had already let the situation spiral out of control. By February 2018, things had gotten worse. Andy went to an assistant principal and reported the harassment. A counselor sat down with him and another student to discuss the situation. His father later shared that while the school took some action, it wasn't enough to fully resolve the issue. And after that, Andy stopped talking about what he was going through. At home, he became more reserved, keeping his struggles to himself. The boy who once left surprise meals on his mom's bedside table and dreamed of playing the saxophone wasn't opening up anymore. Looking back, his parents now recognized the red flags they didn't see before. Andy had started making excuses to avoid school, but at the time, they thought it was just normal behavior. His father, Matthew Leach, also monitored Andy's digital life, but some messages had disappeared or been deleted, ones he would never get to read. Then, on March 6, 2018, everything changed. That evening, Andy's 16-year-old brother walked into the garage and made a discovery that no sibling should ever have to face. He found Andy unresponsive. At the scene, Andy had left behind a message for his family. Out of respect for their son's privacy, his parents chose not to disclose its contents. The shock, the confusion, the heartbreak. It was something no one in the family could have prepared for. But in the days that followed, his parents would come across something that made it even harder to process. While searching his room, his mother, Cheryl Hudson, discovered writings and drawings that dated back months. Among them was something chilling, a picture Andy had drawn of how he expected to be found. And tragically, that's exactly how his family discovered him. They revealed just how much Andy had been struggling in silence. Page after page there were signs of his pain, things he had never said out loud. Cheryl also learned something else. On the very day Andy passed, he was facing another difficult challenge at school, one that added to the stress he was already experiencing. His father voiced his frustration, saying, "It's deeply concerning that bullying incidents continue to happen, and more action is needed to prevent them." And while Andy's parents tried to process what had happened, they were also forced to face another harsh reality. The system that was supposed to protect their son had failed. Students at Southaven Middle School honored Andy by decorating desks with heartfelt messages. They wrote, "You will be missed. Andy, we will remember you. And, you always were a good person, and you will be missed." Their words reflected the deep loss his classmates felt, and the impact he had on those around him. To support the family, a GoFundMe campaign was launched. The page read, "He will be missed deeply by all that knew and loved him." No words could come close to expressing what this family is enduring. If you can't contribute monetarily, I ask that you pray for his mom, dad, brothers, family, and friends. I ask that you kiss your kids and hug them a bit tighter. We never know when God may need them back. Andrew's Memorial Fund raised over $16,000, showing how much his story touched people's hearts. On March 10, 2018, dozens gathered outside Trinity Baptist Church in Southaven to remember Andy. His family, friends, and even strangers stood together, mourning and demanding change. A close family friend, Crystal Butler, expressed her frustration. There seems to be more attention given to other issues, while bullying victims don't always get the support they need. That needs to change. State Representative Steve Hopkins soon proposed Andy's Law, a bill that would direct state lottery funds toward anti-bullying initiatives in schools, helping with counseling, training, and resources to prevent another tragedy. Currently, Mississippi law considers bullying a misdemeanor, with up to 6 months of jail time and $500 in fines. But for many, that wasn't enough. Andy's family and supporters wanted stronger protections and real change. Andy's father, Matthew Leach, urged parents to watch for warning signs, saying, "If your child's grades are dropping, their eating or sleeping habits change, get in their business, talk to them." For Andy's mother, Cheryl Hudson, the grief was overwhelming. "One minute I feel numb, the next I break down. I can't imagine another parent having to experience the heartbreak we are going through." But through the pain, she made a promise. "Andy was funny, sarcastic, compassionate. He was my pride and joy. My ex-husband, my friends and I will not stop fighting. We will make sure Andy's voice is heard, and his death is not in vain. He was a Boy Scout, and he was just your typical kid that liked to have fun. I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. But we are going to keep pushing forward to make sure no other child feels this alone."